Greetings and welcome back to From the Depths and to our fortress. Freshly upgraded with light metal alloy. As you can see down in the bottom, we are hurting for metal a little bit. You'll notice I've done a few other upgrades around the fort. Just little bits and bobs. Mostly in response to sound advice given to me in the comments. But let's give it a quick demonstration. First and foremost, you will notice metal alloy everywhere. Secondly, you'll notice I actually have some shaping. I am particularly proud of these window sections. I am probably going to paint these differently, like the back metal will probably be in black, I'm thinking, or maybe even a bright red, and then the outside metal will be a different color. Hopefully it'll give sort of an impression of eyes peering out from the fortress. If I could stain the glass in some way, I would make them gems, and we'd have the primary colors represented. But as you can see, things have moved around. I have got a lot of extra turbines now that are helping with the lift. We have moved out the sensors a little bit just to complement the aesthetic that I'm going for with the sort of like window embellishments. Down here, you're probably wondering what this is. This little setup includes all of the basic building components plus 2 supply pumps. So, ideally, when there are neighboring vessels that need supplies, then these supply pumps can start ferrying things across. And in fact, I don't even believe I've set these up to do anything yet, have I? I think I may have to do that in this. Let's have a quick look at this. Resource, there we go. Right, move sliders to set the minimum value for each resource. You will not supply resources to other vehicles beyond this. Ammo, I'm happy to supply up to half of this place's, well, actually, maybe not quite half. 3/4 of its ammo, 3/4 of its fuel. I will move around, yeah, about 50% of its spares. Power, I can't really move around. Allow repairing of other constructibles, allow others to repair this one. Now, as you can see, I've got the repair tentacles, and I quite like the way they just kind of hang there, limp and unresponsive, until there's something to do, then at which point I hope that they become crazy, frenzied limbs flailing around. I am looking forward to seeing that. As you can see, we've got vehicle spawners, and we've got the full complement of vehicle spawners, scrappers, blueprint spawners, that sort of thing. We also have some underslung repair bots. So these guys can help on the outside, because the repair bots on the inside are not going to be able to help on the outside. Or at least I doubt they will be able to. As you can see, I have got repair bots in here, though. You'll notice that the AI, which was controlling the missile defense system, is gone. And that's because a pretty awesome bit of advice is that these are generally fairly cheap, the AI mainframes themselves. So I've just borrowed the AI mainframes for each missile warning system. So each one has its own mainframe. That actually works to our benefit, because if something did manage to get through here and blow up that mainframe, all of our missile warners would have shut down. Now, they would literally have to blow up the missile warners on each side in order to completely shut off our ability to warn and direct our missile defense system to impending doom. Now, I'm sure many of you have noticed I've moved the lasers around as well. Again, a little bit of advice on how I could better use the space. And to be fair, it was quite sound advice, actually. The main thing I was concerned of doing this previously was having this whole column coming all the way down, and also having the neighboring sections also occupied with the laser pumps. But obviously, that isn't the case. We don't actually need the laser pumps coming all the way down, because we had 3 destabilizers. I have switched from 3 destabilizers to 2 destabilizers and 1 armor penetration, frequency doubler that is, on each one, just in case the missiles have some sort of armor, I wanted that little bit of extra armor there. But we have a lot of laser pumps. We also have a lot of ammo behind it. We have 4 Q switches on each one. So these laser defense system, missile defense lasers should be able to fire at a maximum fire rate. But that is it. That is all I've done. Oh, I've also gotten rid of the, unfortunately, I should say, because I am a little bit sad to see them go. I've gotten rid of the connecting lasers, the laser transceivers. Alas, there was no room for them. And instead, I've got this completely kitted out with the laser connectors instead. Now, in this episode, as promised, we're going to be working on a cannon. And Furthermore, as promised, we are going to be making the first one a sniper turret. That is the primary concern for this, is that it should be a very, very powerful sniper turret. It doesn't fire too often, but what it does fire should do enormous, absolutely catastrophic levels of damage. Now, to set this up properly, we are going to need a few things. Now, unfortunately, our metal being as it is, we're going to have to build this out of wood, and later on, again, I will go to the effort of replacing all of this with light metal alloy, simply so that we've got a decent amount of protection on this weapon. Now, should I actually do that? Do I want to put that there or not? Actually, no, I don't. I don't want to do that. What I would like to do instead is this. Now, what I'm going to do here is we're going to be setting up the AI controller as we did previously. Now, this is a experimental cannon design, so I'm going to be including all of the building. This episode is likely to be another fairly build-heavy episode, just word to the wise there. We are also going to have the AI connector there, and then the wireless receiver on top. We want this one to be receiving on channel... Well, you know what? This can be the primary weapon, since the other one down there, the torpedoes, don't actually require a receiver. A transmitter, because their AI is built directly above it. Now, local AI weapon controller. We'll set that up correctly when I need to. And also, I need to get rid of you, otherwise it's going to cause some problems, isn't it? Yes. Okay, there we are. Now, the problem with this is, ideally I would like to try and limit how much room I take up for wood, if I can. But, that said, I want the wood blocks to come out at least this far. This is going to be flush. This design is going to be exactly the same sort of position as the one above it, in terms of the shape, the cylindrical shape. It should match the fortress below. Now, you will notice there are an enormous amount of enhancements to the UI. One of them is this. As I move over things, I don't think this has ever been the case before. I could be completely wrong. But as you can see, I can move over things. It gives me an idea of what it looks like. Rubber block. I find that rather amusing. One day I'm going to find a use for rubber block. I'm not sure what that use is going to be, but it'll be epic. Now, we want to bring this out. Now, the idea with this cannon, as I've mentioned to a few people in the comments who were a little bit concerned that I was going to be building something that wouldn't really be able to be protected properly, or rather that the cannon itself would be extending out and this would be an easy target for bombs or enemy shells. The cannon firing piece is going to be way back here. This cannon is going to be... I want the barrel to travel almost the entire length of the turret, and it'll still go a little bit further beyond that as well. But I'm going to build it up a little bit because I want to create a nice kind of mouth to this turret. This is not going to be a cannon that is going to have much elevation control. I don't think it's going to need it. Let's go ahead and place down... We're going to make a very simple firing piece to start. We'll just put lots and lots of barrels out there. Now, the thing is, I want this to have crazy, absolutely criminal levels of damage potential. So I want a lot of gauge increases on this. In fact, you know what? I could just encase that side. Oh, that's good. Then I can take that away. I think that works. Kind of. Maybe. Let's put that there as well, just to make sure. There we are. Okay, that completely works. Very well. Now, we want to go back to custom cannons. And we want the 6-way connectors. Now, these should connect off the side. Okay. And we're going to have a lot of room. This is going to be a fairly tall section of this turret. Possibly completely symmetrical, so it would be another 3 tall. So, we could afford to bring this out and down. I'm not sure if there would be particular use in doing that. Maybe. Maybe they would. We'll see. We bring this out to around there, I think. Now, one thing we can do on the inside is possibly bring this across. Actually, I'm not sure if that would be necessary on the inside. Let's think. Let's test this out anyway with gauge increases, because that's something I'm definitely going to want. So we'll place down a bunch of gauge increases all along here, just so I can see how large we can get this barrel. And then all along here as well. There we go. Now, we've run out of metal already. Well, drat. Thing is this gauge increase really helping? Let's have a quick look. We've got kinetic damage 1,365. Alright. Recoil, stupid. That's officially what it was saying there. It was just listing the recoil as stupid. Okay, we don't need this many gauge increases apparently, because it's just not giving us any benefit. Okay, it's starting to go down now. So, how many gauge increases did we have? Oh, did we only have one? Okay. That's interesting to know. If we place one on each side here then, and one on the top as well, this is probably going to be as powerful as we really want it to be in terms of the gauge increase. Alright, I accept. We will build this out as well. There we go. Now then, this gives us our barrel shape. That said, we could probably have this one layer down. But this actually does give it a little bit of maneuverability. The cannon can adjust for elevation just slightly if we built it about this big. And honestly, I think that is probably wise to allow for. Now, as I was saying, this is going to be an enormous weapon. We are going to have as much... up to the point that we start seeing diminishing returns, we are going to increase the amount of explosive, armor piercing, pretty much everything we can. We've got some enemies over here, do we? Where are they? They are over yonder. The Aavak has been disallowed for floating around because it's drunk. As many of you noticed in the previous episode, Aavak was a little bit tipsy, and as a result, should not be trusted to sail. Right, let's continue building up the skeleton for this turret here. There we are. The enemies have come within range of the Aavak's missiles. It's pretty much over for the enemies at this point. No matter what they are, they're not going to be able to stand up to that kind of punishment. I'm actually quite tempted just to completely case this layer in some extra armor, just in case any enemies do manage to get some damage in. They're not simply going to be able to burrow through to the inner workings. Ooh, lots of shells coming down. That's a little bit dangerous. Aavak, I hope your shields are up to snuff. There we go. Right, actually, we're going to start building. We're going to go and have a look at what's going on over there. Oh, so much lag. Have I just jumped? Yes, I did. I didn't switch to my camera in time. Let me out. Let me out. Alright, there we go. Aavak is still doing her best to take out the enemy where possible. You know what? When Aavak isn't trying to sail around in the middle of a fight, it's actually a lot better. Please don't shoot the Aavak, though. I'm just going to say that now. I would appreciate it if none of those torpedoes hit the Aavak. I would consider it a personal favor. And my lord, I am actually, for those of you who are particularly like, oh my lord, such terrible, terrible FPS, I am strongly considering going to playing this on 720 instead of 1080. As much as I like playing it in 1080, especially when I'm just building, yeah, the FPS just does drop to almost nothing in these big fights. And I've noticed that it's even worse lately. Since one of the more recent updates, on the whole, the graphics are significantly more polished, but the result is that the FPS is much, much lower during the bigger fights. Let's get in there and have a look at what's going on. Perhaps one day I will be able to upgrade my computer enough that this sort of slowdown doesn't occur. But it looks like the enemies are for the most part, sufficiently damaged. Their missile defense systems are ruined. So our missiles are getting through now, which is the main thing. And we've got plenty of torpedoes on their way to the missile warner ship as it happens. So, ideally, we're going to be able to take him out of this fight. Because with that missile nullifying ability of his, it's actually getting a little bit nasty. The Aavak does appear to have taken a chunk of damage, though, because its missiles, some of them were going quite astray. I imagine that's because some damage managed to get through the shields and damage the actual missile launchers themselves. So the missiles were launching without all of the components, namely the designator beam receiver. So they weren't actually guided towards anything. But even though it is shooting down my missiles, it's shooting them down right in front of the enemy ship, which means that the fragmentation is still actually managing to do some damage. And plenty of the torpedoes are getting through at this point. It looks like this ship is going to be taken out, but I should really double check that everything is set to ignore salvage. Yes, okay. Tempted to tell the Aavak to start engaging combat-wise, because it would bring its cannon into the fray, and that would significantly increase the amount of damage we're doing, but the torpedoes are doing okay at the moment, I think. Let's zoom in and actually see what kind of damage is being done to this craft. Got plenty of metal coming our way. Now, the only vehicle that is using metal right now would be the Aavak, for two reasons. Firstly, to replenish its ammo stockpiles, and secondly, to repair any damage it's taking, because these vessels don't appear to be targeting our fortress, which is quite fortunate for us. But I would be very happy once they decide that this vessel is no longer worth their time. I'm going to let the AI continue to do that, but perhaps I need to tweak it slightly. This thing, I can't imagine it is much of a threat at this point, so I'm not really sure why everything is targeting it. Though, it looks like the torpedoes may be changing course. Yes, the torpedoes have decided that this place is really not worth their effort. Or at least most of them have. The Fortress and the Aavak both have now decided that this vessel is no longer a threat. It is just salvage, so it's being ignored. All of the missiles, all of the torpedoes, and look at that. The torpedoes are making right turns. Now, that is something that they flat out wouldn't have been able to do before. The laser designation really, really is worth using, it seems. We've got a lot of torpedoes in the water because that fortress produces quite a lot of passive ammo. Actually, an enormous amount of passive ammo, I have to be honest. It can store 13,000 ammo naturally, and it's only consumed just coming up to 3,000 in all of the all of the torpedoes that it's fired. It is probably also supplying the Aavak at the moment, thanks to the supply pump. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I wouldn't be too surprised. So it looks like it's game over for you. Your missile warner system is down, and you're also within range of the Aavak's main cannon. Yeah, we can see the explosive shells coming in. It is pretty much game over at this point. And a nice little bit of heroic sounding music to wrap up the battle with. You really should have been running away while you had the chance. I'm sorry to say it, but you're pretty much doomed at this point. Farewell. Brave though you were, you really couldn't even contribute to this fight. You never once got in range. And now there's just so much ouch coming your way. Oh my lord. Where on earth was that missile going? I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned. But that is it. Okay, we've got a decent bit of metal came in from that. We're up to 14,000. That is actually pretty nice. I could possibly use that to upgrade the turret, but given that we're experimenting with the turret at the moment, I'm not going to go ahead and start making use of that just yet. Looks like the fortress is also helping to repair the Aavak. That is fantastic. I approve enormously. Right, let's get this last little bit slotted in there and over on this side as well. Okay, so that's going to give us our frame for the cannon. Now the question is, what are we going to add? How are we going to employ the ammo loaders? Because we've got a lot of room to play with. I'm actually tempted to quickly, off camera, flesh out the shape of the turret and just build it up so I know exactly what we've got to work with. I think that's actually a pretty good idea. So I'm going to be back in just a few moments where I will have finished off just the outer edge of the turret so that we can see clearly how much room we have to play with internally. So be right back. And welcome back. As you can see, I have finished making a basic design of the turret. However, I had a slight change of heart in how I was going to design it. Originally, I was thinking of just having one enormous barreled sniper turret, but honestly, once I built the turret, I realized how much room we had. Now, I could be wrong thinking about it, but my instincts are telling me that this is far too much room for a single turret. Now, from what I've witnessed whilst experimenting previously, there is a cap on how much explosive damage, how much armor piercing, how many gauge increases actually do anything. There are enormous diminishing returns. And based on this much room, I just flat out don't think that we'd be able to do anything worthwhile with that much space. This would probably be a turret, and for a small amount of time, I was really close to making it a laser turret. Simply because there was so much room, I could easily fit a lot of laser cavities in here. But I really don't want to go that route. I would much prefer to have a sniper turret. Now, I need to find the center block. It is this one. Right, so what we need is we need a mirror line first and foremost. Let's get that in there, and then let's place... we'll place 2 blocks just to give it some anchoring. In fact, we'll place 2 above it as well. Okay, now, first and foremost, have I set up the firing mechanism, the turret itself, to the correct slot? Yes, I have. Okay, good. You'll also notice that I didn't build a beam here. Now, I'm not sure if that's necessary or not, but just because I've not played around with light blocks too much in the past, I would like to leave that clear just so that there's no confusion later on when I'm trying to attach an actual component there. Now, the custom cannon, we want the firing piece again. We also want to set both of these up to section 1. Furthermore, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say don't shoot until you've got the best possible accuracy that you can. Let's hope that that isn't a mistake on my part. Now, what we're going to want to do is, first and foremost, let's go ahead and build out the barrels on each section. Let's make sure that there is a mirror line. Actually, we already have a mirror line. I can see that. Okay, let's bring this all the way out. Now, obviously, I don't want these barrels to be extending too far from the front. That would be a mistake. What I do want, however, is to see that this has 5 and 5. Fair enough. Let's go ahead and get some motor-driven barrels in here. We'll splay them out simply because I actually like the aesthetic of having them staggered like this. Now, one thing we're not going to care about is recoil. I'm going to leave those last 3. I'm going to... Let's see, how much are we going to get? 22. I imagine if I place 1 more, it's going to be 45. I'm not sure I really want 45. I want just more barrels. More barrels for more speed, more accuracy, though... yeah, we're going to cut it off about here instead. There we go. And then we'll take that one away. Alright, that's as far out as I want these barrels to extend. Now, I hope it's not too dark for you to be able to see. That would be unfortunate. Let's go ahead and build out plenty of these over here. Now, I'm going to want to try and protect this a little bit. I'm thinking of having a shield... projector somewhere towards the front, perhaps even in the middle of this block, come to think of it. We'll see how that goes. But for now, let's just do this. And we want to massively increase the gauge. Now, 250 kinetic. The easiest way I found to try and work out where the cutoff point is, because I'm sure there's a science behind this, and you can very quickly work out what the diminishing returns sit at. 975. If I add another 1, will this still help? Will it increase it a lot? Yes, it does. Another 2. Let's go ahead and start adding them in 3s. Now, what I'm looking for is when this starts to slow down in how much it gives us. So 161 at the moment. Is this going to slow down a lot? 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay, we're not going too badly. Let's call it quits there, though, whatever it's at. 1274. It looks like we are actually slowing down. Right, so that's the gauge increases. As you can see, the barrels are huge. Huge and lovely. Right, we want to... can I fit a predictor? I don't fancy that I can, but what I could do, actually, thinking about it, is I could possibly have the predictor fit there? Maybe? Will this work? Q menu? Weapon GUI? Is that the actual predictor, though? I think it is. Can that connect from the back? Yes, it can connect from the back. Okay, we'll put the predictors there then. That gives me a nice bit of prediction on what we're doing. Now, as we've already seen, we've got humongous amounts of kinetic damage, and that is very, very nice. But reload time, 20 seconds. I want it to be a sniper weapon. I don't want it to take 20 seconds to fire, though. So we're going to need to build out this way now. Thing is, we could happily build out along here to about there and build up the ammo reloaders on the tops. And that wouldn't be a problem. Then we could build out a little ways further and do the same again, or just have more ammo barrels so this thing stores more of its own ammo. I'm fancying building this out at the bottom rather than at the top. I guess we could do it at the top. The main thing I'm concerned about is we'd have the ammo... Well, actually, I'll demonstrate. It'll be a little bit easier to show. If I build these out like so, if I were to build anything else up, it would literally be flush with the top. That would mean I couldn't put a cap on it, on this turret as a whole. I'm not really sure how much I care about that, though. I might not care that much. The other thing that I'm concerned of is if I put stuff on top of the turret, will the turret be able to angle its barrel up or down? That is something I'm going to have to test. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and place a bunch of ammo boxes. In fact, we don't want that one there because it can't see anything, so there's no point. So there we are. That's our basic ammo boxes on top there. Let's see how that has affected the reload speed. Wow. Really? We're already down to... twice? Ooh, okay. Now, the thing with that is that I don't really want it to be firing that frequently. How about we just strip off a bunch of these and see how that affects it? Okay, 1.53. That's not too bad because I kind of want it to be firing every 2 seconds. That's roughly the point that I'm aiming for. So that means that these top ones can be used for just explosive, which I'm actually pretty happy with. But before we do that, let's can I actually get outside? You know, I may have well, you see, I could possibly maybe have made a slight mistake. You know what? Let me I know what I can do. No, come out of that. Don't be silly now. I want a weapons control. That way, I can... A fire control computer, rather. I want my little beep boop fire control computer about... here, perhaps? Beep boop? Oh, wrong way. Okay. Beep boop. There we go. Right next to me. Ah, fantastic. I like that. Right, okay. I should now be able to control this. If I go up to 1... There we go. Can I aim up? Yes, the cannons actually don't care. Don't care in the slightest. They don't care that they're not meant to be able to punch holes through the fort itself. But okay, well that's fine then. That's the big concern out of the way. Let's fire a shell. Oh, that sounds awesome. Let's follow the shells. Goodbye, cruel world. How far am I going? Wow, we are very, very far. We're almost over to the next island. We stopped there. Wow, that was... We stopped at 2K. That is the limit of our barrels, of our shells to reach. The next thing I wanted to check again then is how accurate, how much of a drop. There's a very big drop. How far away is that island? Because I can land a shell more or less on that island. Let's go ahead and do that and see how far away I am. Hello? 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 About there. Oh, wow. We're going straight up. Oh, orbital. Well, on the plus side, I know that this cannon could happily shoot things in the space. It would be a little bit of trick shot involved, but it could do it. Let me try that again and actually see what I'm doing this time. I'll have to be watching the AI constantly. Okay, let's fire a shell about there. Now, how far away am I? And we're about to plink about 1,000. Okay, well, we can't even shoot out to 1,000 without there being significant drop. That's a bit of a pain, honestly. I was hoping that this barrel would be able to fire the shells far, far faster than that. How about we go ahead and add many more barrels to it. And we'll see how much that messes everything up. The only problem with this, obviously, is that now I absolutely need to add more motorized barrels. So let's get that done. There we go. And we'll leave 4 at the end. Let's see how much that would affect it. I'm not happy with that. I would like it a little bit better than that. Okay, let's do that then. Now we'll see how far it can fire before it drops. It's still dropping a lot. It's. I was hoping with this many barrels, honestly, that there'd be very little bullet drop involved, that it would be able to fire the shells fast enough that they'd be able to travel that distance more or less in a straight line, but it doesn't appear that that is going to be the case. And that is most unfortunate. Most unfortunate indeed. Nevertheless, let's move on. Let's continue building. We want plenty of armor piercing. Let's get those added in there. How many is that? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should we make it a nice even? Not necessarily. What kind of armor piercing has this got? It's got 6.1. We need much more than that. Ah, drat. Damn and blast. Every single time. If this was time-based, I could say something like, you could set your watch by how often I forget to add a mirror line, but that wouldn't quite make sense. But it isn't far off that, in my opinion. Bloody hell. Right. Now, we'll go with the ammo reloaders. We'll place these at the bottom here. And we also need to make sure that they are actually being placed and connecting. Connected to firing piece. Good, good, good. Very well. What we want now then is some more armor piercing. How's our metal doing? We're doing pretty nicely for metal, actually. There are no concerns there. Let's bring this all the way down. Now this should have enough armor piercing to pretty much deal with anything, I would imagine. Where is the firing piece? There we are. Armor piercing, still not 10? Really? My lord. How? Why? What could possibly? I don't understand. All right. We'll have to deal with this. I'm thinking. Well, we probably don't need much, so we could probably just neatly add a couple more. In fact, how about we strip away some of the regular barrels? Sorry, regular ammo boxes. There we are. What have we got? 9.8. Strip away a couple more. What have we got now? 9.9. Damn it! Why? Why do you make this so hard on me? I want this to be able to pierce through anything. That means metal as well. 9.9 still. Really? It's one of those days. Alright, let's go ahead and just add loads more down here then. If this isn't at 10, then I'm just going to say that it can't be. Okay, we've had to invest stupid amounts in that. Not going to stick with that, though. We're going to get rid of all of those along there. And see, is that 9.9? It's just going to have to be 9.9, I'm afraid. I might find a... Ooh, damn. If that last one gives me 10, I'll be very, very pleased. But I doubt it. Also, shrink this down. Let's stop fighting with the system there. Right, are we going to have enough? I doubt it. 9.9 still. Well, damn and blast. I'm sure I can find a spot down here somewhere where I can hook that up. There should be somewhere. In fact, I should be able to bring this down. And I realize that time is running away with me a little bit. I apologize for that. Hopefully, it's not going to get too far away from me, but I'll have to see. What does that look like underneath? Actually, there's no real room to do anything down here. I suppose I could use this as an ammo stockpile, though, at the very least. So we'll add some extra ammo boxes back here, if nothing else. There we are. But we're going to have to put extra armor piercing elsewhere then. Now, the way we're going to hook that up, considering we've more or less gone everywhere, is to bring something like this straight out. Oops, no, that's not what we want. We want this coming straight out to the wall. Now, question is, I really wasn't expecting to have to use that many armor piercing, reloaders for just armor piercing. That has thrown my plans out a little bit. Actually, a better idea would be to do this. Rather than have it run along the side, we'll use the side for something else. And instead, we will slot in a couple of reloaders up and below. That should make better use of this space. There we go. Alright then. We want some more ammo, more auto-loaders, and we'll start with the bottom ones. Just come all the way out. We'll shrink down the blocks again so I can see a little bit better, now that I've checked that everything is going to be in the right spot. And, let's see. Okay, that's connected. That's all I wanted to check. Let's place 5 of those and see how that has affected our firing piece. Still 9.9, really? What kind of witchcraft? What do you expect from me, game? I just don't know. Feels as though it's taking the mick, really. Are we finally up to 10? Yes, finally. We've got no explosive damage yet. But our shells can basically pierce through anything. If we shot at the moon, it would go through the moon. Maybe. That's probably an exaggeration. Don't take my word on it. Right, okay, finally we can add the explosive warheads. Now, I'm hoping that these have a much better return, rather than diminishing returns that we've seen on the armor piercing, but I really don't know. I could be very, very easily disappointed with that. So, let's just keep our fingers crossed. Okay, we've got crazy amounts of explosive warheads in there. Let's see. How much explosive damage can this cannon put out? 473. I'm not entirely happy with that. I'll be honest with you. Not 100% satisfied. We've got a spot for some more ammo loaders right in here. We're going to be really using up every tiny little bit of space that we've got left in this turret. On the plus side, I mean, that's pretty good use of space. But on the downside, my lord, this cannon is expensive. Because that was a lot of space we started with. And we've not added any extra ammo stockpiles, really. And we've added a couple at the bottom, but they're barely worth mentioning. Alright, let's see how much extra damage this is going to do. Really? Okay, I think it's safe to say diminishing returns have been reached. Very well. We'll take these away. Oops, a daisy. Let's put that back, shall we? There we go. Right. Okay, then I guess we'll just put some extra ammo storage in here. I could have... I'd have to take 2 out there for an extra 2 on either side. Oh, actually, no. What I was thinking is either I could put the ammo barrels just between these 2, or I could occasionally have a branch coming off. But thinking about it, I don't need it because I've already got all of these moving along the side like that. So I can just fill the rest of this up with ammo boxes at this point, just to store a little bit of extra ammo. We should be good, I think. Now, one thing is starting to... Oh, no, these are connected. I was wondering briefly if maybe these were not connected, and that's why I was having some issues, but no. No, we seem to have ridiculous, and I mean ridiculous, amounts of firepower with this gun. We've still got a lot of metal as well, so I should be able to clad it all in lightweight metal alloy. And then we will be beginning work on the turret above. I am, well, a little bit afraid of how powerful this weapon is going to be. You know what, though? I'm going to increase this to 5 because this cannot fire its projectiles quite as swiftly as I was hoping. 5.1 will have to do. So I'm not convinced that we're going to be getting enough accuracy to fire this properly. We'll see. But that is all for this episode, I think. I may split it up a little bit because I think I've gone quite far over the time limit I usually like to have. But wow, that looks top heavy now. My lord, does this look top heavy now. Egads. On the plus side, should be able to do a good chunk of damage. On the downside, actually thinking about it, I didn't really extend its firing speed that much anyway. So the last thing I'm going to do, thinking about it, is I'm going to cut off these barrels. I don't think I need them to be nearly as long as I have them. So we're going to lock that in place. Have I locked it in place? Yes, I have. And we're going to cut those off. There we go. Hopefully, these enormous, almost if we imagine that these are 1 meter cubes, then the shells that we're going to be firing... Oh, actually, no, they're shrinking down as they're getting closer. Damn it. Let's have a look at the... Oh, no, I think using the blocks in the background is a bit of a guide. I would say that this is pretty much firing 1 meter diameter shells. And that is more or less where I want it to be. Oh, no. Really? I forgot the mirror line. I think you can actually set your watch by me. About every 4 seconds, roughly speaking. Okay, well, off camera, I'm going to fix this up and possibly clad the top as best I can in a little bit of extra armor. But in the next episode, we're going to be putting on the second tier of turrets on top of this. I'm not sure what that's going to be. I'm favoring a very, very rapid fire cannon just for AA. Just literally, maybe even 4 cannons in that one. Just all ammo, maybe some explosive, not really armor piercing. I just want to shell anything in the air. I just want to fill the sky with ordnance. It's not really something I need to worry too much about being accurate. It's just going to be firing so much it won't matter. I'm not going to go for lasers. I'm fairly certain of that. But that is it from me. I do hope you've enjoyed this episode. Again, I might split it into 2 depending on how long this ends up being. But until next time, and as always, do take care.